Nesta análise visual, we're diving headfirst into one of the biggest, most persistent headaches that software engineering teams face every single day. I'm talking about Enterprise Application Integration, or EAI. You already know the struggle, right? Trying to get systems to talk to each other when they were literally never designed to do so. It's complex, it's a massive time sink, and honestly, it's just highly prone to errors. But today, we're going to look at how the i2 Factory platform completely simplifies these integrations. It basically abstracts away all that nasty technical complexity so we can focus on what actually matters, the business logic.
But before we actually jump into the solution, I want you to stop and really think about this for a second. What is the true cost? I mean, both financially and in terms of your team's time to migrate your current system integrations. Just think about the sheer massive effort it takes to rewrite code every single time an integration platform evolves, or heaven forbid, your company decides to completely overhaul its infrastructure. Technology moves at lightning speed, and if your business logic is heavily tied down to a specific vendor's code, well, that migration turns into an absolute financial nightmare.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the integration challenge itself, then move into the model-driven revolution. After that, we'll actually meet i2 Factory and check out the Guaraná visual language. Then, we'll ground all this theory with a real-world case study from CIC, and finally, wrap things up with a look at the future of integrations.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the challenge of integration.
So, the absolutely crucial thing to grasp here is this transition. The huge, glaring issue with most current state-of-the-art tech is that it relies on a purely code-centric approach, and we all know what that means: vendor lock-in. You get completely trapped by the syntax and standards of one specific vendor, which just skyrockets your maintenance costs. But if we look at the flip side, a model-centric approach is a total game changer. It treats models as first-class citizens. By totally separating the business logic from the underlying technical implementation, these models become reusable and, best of all, platform-independent. Migration costs, they literally plummet.
Moving right along to Section 2, the model-driven revolution. This is a massive paradigm shift in how we approach software.
Which brings us to Section 3. Let's actually meet the i2 Factory platform.
Now, I really need to stress this. i2 Factory isn't just some basic run-of-the-mill tool. It is a serious, industrial-grade, cloud-native platform built right on top of a domain-specific language, or DSL. The perks here are honestly fantastic. You want a fully cloud-based deployment? You got it. Need it on-premise on your own servers? No problem. You can design, compile, and run your entire integration solution right from your web browser. No local installations required whatsoever. And the best part? It runs on an independent DSL platform, meaning your whole architecture is completely future-proofed.
Just taking a look at the starting dashboard here, you can immediately tell we aren't dealing with some clunky, overly complex academic experiment. It's clean, it's industrial, and it's ready to go. Over on the left side, you've got these super intuitive modules to manage your server environments, a secure spot for your credentials to talk to external services, and of course the main solutions module. That's where the real magic happens.
Okay, let's jump to Section 4, the Guaraná visual language, the engine powering these integrations.
To really get a handle on Guaraná, we just need to learn 3 super simple elements: ports, tasks, and slots. Think of this exactly like an industrial assembly line. Your tasks? Those are the assembly line workers. They're highly specialized. They modify, split, or transform whatever is put in front of them. The slots are basically the conveyor belts, temporarily storing and moving messages from one worker to the next. And the ports? Think of those as the factory's loading docks, the actual interfaces where your resources enter or leave the system. It's a beautifully simple visual way to abstract all that messy data.
Okay, let's dive into this visual interface. Notice how the engineer has these panels on the left side packed with different kinds of tasks. Your routers, modifiers, transformers, right alongside ports for all the popular connectors. The whole development process literally boils down to dragging and dropping these icons right onto the workspace and then connecting your ports to your tasks using those slots. You're actually just drawing the data path. You're building a wildly complex workflow and you haven't typed a single line of code yet. How cool is that?
But, we're in IT. Stuff happens. So what do you do when there's a hiccup in the integration? Well, this right here highlights one of the absolute best features of i2 Factory: real-time debugging. Without even leaving your browser window, you can just flip on debug mode. You can click on a specific slot, remember that's our conveyor belt, and visually inspect the exact structure of a message, like an XML payload, at that exact second in time.
You can actually set breakpoints and watch step by step as each worker modifies the message.
All right, on to Section 5, Case Study CIIC. Let's step out of the theory and see how this platform handles some actual real-world messy data.
So the Computer Science and Communications Research Center, or CIIC, over in Portugal, was dealing with a seriously painful administrative bottleneck. Every time they needed to report for funding, they had to compile a ton of data scattered across multiple platforms. The manual process was a nightmare. Step 1, open an XML file dumped in a shared Dropbox folder to get a list of researchers. Step 2, cross-reference that list by manually pinging the REST API of the Gagoi system, which is Portugal's central hub for scientific CVs. Step 3, hit the Scopus API to pull down international citations. And finally, Step 4, mash all that data together, transform it into HTML, and publish it manually on their internal web portal. Ouch, right?
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how i2Factory solves that headache. Look at this. This is that entire 4-step process completely modeled in Guaraná. If you follow the flow, it kicks off with an input port on the far left connecting to Dropbox to read the initial data. Then boom, it hits a splitter task that breaks the list down into individual researchers. Those get routed to request reports that go out and autonomously talk to the Gagois and Scopus APIs, gathering and enriching all the info. The messages just flow effortlessly down the slots, getting refined step by step until transformation tasks generate the final HTML files and shoot them over to the web portal. It's just a perfect visual abstraction of a really clunky business process.
Which leads us to our final part, Section 6, the future of integrations. So what's actually happening under the hood here?
Well, this is the invisible magic that makes i2Factory so incredibly powerful. It all comes down to a classic model-to-text transformation. While you, the user, are just dragging and dropping to build that Guaraná visual model and configuring a few properties, you are never actually touching raw code. Behind the scenes, the platform uses a language called MoffScript. It scans the visual layout you just drew, and it automatically generates all the underlying executable Java code for you. No joke. All that heavy, boring, low-level script writing, opening network connections, handling exceptions, iterating through loops, the machine does it all. The integration engineer is totally freed up to just focus on delivering actual value to the business.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a provocative question to chew on. Based on everything we've just seen about how the i2Factory platform simplifies integrations, is your business logic currently chained down, trapped in the proprietary code of a platform that's eventually going to become obsolete? Or is it liberated, captured in sustainable, immutable visual models? Because freeing up your business logic isn't just a nice-to-have, it's absolutely the most vital step in creating an agile, future-proof IT infrastructure. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today for this deep dive. Catch you next time.